begin the back to school. We looked at plagiarism, we looked at academia. But it's important that you understand what is the difference between poetry and prose. Prose is what you see in your everyday writing. It's sentences. It's where the first letter of every sentence is capitalized. There's punctuation, there's periods, there's spaces, there's new paragraphs. Ideas are contained in those paragraphs, and it's very straightforward. It's what you would expect to read when you open up a book. Large blocks of words. But poetry is something completely different. It's reserved for us to express ourselves artistically. It's more expressive, it's decorated. It could have comparisons and rhymes and rhythms. I always remember one of my childhood rhythms. One of my favorite poems that I've never forgotten. Fat and skinny went to bed, fat rolled over, and skinny's dead. That's a rhyme. The ideas may not be sentences. They may not be expressions. It might be one letter. The line breaks are for all different kinds of reasons. Perhaps it's just to give you a new idea. The first letter doesn't have to be capitalized. This is where you can take it to any level that you want. And the length can vary, as in a very long poem. This is by E. Dunn. This poem is very long. So long, in fact, that your attention span may be stretched to its limits. But that's okay. That's what's special about poetry. See, poetry takes time. We live in time. Call it our culture or society. It doesn't matter to me because neither one rhymes. A time where most people don't want to listen. Our throats wait like matchsticks, waiting to catch fire, waiting until we can speak. No patience to listen. But this poem is long. It's so long, in fact, that during the time of this poem, you could have done any number of wonderful things. You could have called your father. Call your father. You could be writing a postcard right now. Write a postcard. When was the last time you wrote a postcard? You could be outside. You're probably not too far away from a sunrise or a sunset. Watch the sunrise. Maybe you could have written your own poem, a better poem. You could have played a tune or sung a song. You could have met your neighbor and memorized their name. You could have drawn a picture, or at least colored one in. You could have started a book, or finished a prayer. You could have talked to God. Pray. When was the last time you prayed? Really prayed. This is a long poem. So long, in fact, that you've already spent a minute with it. When was the last time you hugged a friend for a minute? Or told them that you love them? Tell your friends you love them. No, I mean it. Tell them. Say, I love you. Say, you make life worth living. Because that is what friends do. Of all the wonderful things you could have done during this very, very long poem, you could have connected. Maybe you are connecting. Maybe we're connected. See, I believe that the only thing that really matters in the grand scheme of life are God and people. And if people are made in the image of God, then when you spend your time with people, it's never wasted. And in this very long poem, I'm trying to let a poem do what a poem does. Make things simpler. We don't need poems to make things more complicated. We have each other for that. We need poems to remind ourselves of the things that really matter. To take time, a long time, to be alive for the sake of someone else for a single moment or for many moments. Because we need each other. To hold the hands of a broken person, all you have to do is meet a person, shake their hands, and look in their eyes. They are you. We are all broken together, but these shattered pieces of our existence don't have to be a mess. We just have to care enough to hold our tongues sometimes, sit and listen to a very long poem, a story of a life, the joy of a friend, and the grief of a friend. To hold and be held and be quiet. So pray. Write a postcard. Call your parents and forgive them. And then thank them. Turn off the TV. Create art as best you can. Share as much as possible, especially money. Tell someone about a very long poem you heard and how afterwards it brought you to them.
Thank you, Lois. Our next student, who will be coming to show how well prepared she is for this particular project, is none other than